which best practice to apply and which best practice you can't apply in a particular setting is something that comes with years. Again, get back to Gladwell's rule of the 10,000 hours. And this is especially true of tools. We have seen situations with our clients and my associates and I where people had certifications with particular automation tools, and that was used as a way of bringing that person into a particular engagement or job, but they actually had no real practical experience and no real capability to do the work. And so this can happen, and then this can happen with any certification, but we've seen it especially with the tools. So certification is good. I like certification, obviously, but it is part of a larger skills management issue for you as a test manager. Is not a silver bullet. You can't just say, well, if I only hire people with ISDQB Foundation certificate, then everything's going to be fine. I'm going to say, watch out for prescriptive certifications that say, that espouse a one true way to do things. I'm going to pick on the Scrum guys a little bit here. They're big boys; they can handle it. If Agile is fine where it works and if it's properly applied, and I have no problem with that, and I'll get to this a little more later. But I think a training program that you sit and you get told that this is how Agile works and this is what Agile is and it's the best thing since sliced bread and so forth, as I've heard from some people who go through it. And then, in some cases, at least this is my understanding, there's not actually an exam. You just complete the training and then boom, here you go. You're certified. Or, what is this? What are you certified as? In certain religions, it's enough to just go and sit and listen to the preacher preach every Sunday or Saturday or whatever, and you can claim, okay, I am this. That's fine. Faith is faith, right? But this is just being a professional tester is not an act of faith. It's an act of it's a series of acts of professional testing, right? And so I would say watch out for these. If you're a test manager and you're looking for certifications to get, if you decide that you want people who've got Scrum certification because you're going to be using Scrum in your shop, then that's fine. But I would say, evaluate the programs carefully. Make sure there's more to it than just drumming something into someone's head. And also, I would say it should be a rule that any certification that's worth pursuing as a certification, as opposed to just a vehicle for selling training, should have a reputable, secure exam that is separate from the training, in the sense that the trainer is not allowed to get involved in that process. So, the secure exam would be one where people are forced to prove their identity. There's one tester certification as part of a larger set of certifications offered by one organization where you can actually take the exam online. And I mean, this is absurd. Anybody could take the exam for you. I'm going to claim to be Bob Smith and answer the questions for Bob Smith, put Bob Smith's address on there, he gets the certificate. He didn't even take the exam necessarily. So, I'd say be a choosy customer. Okay, so I gave a webinar on this. I've given a talk on this issue of iterative and particularly agile methodologies, and they do pose some challenges. Some of these are inherent to the methodologies themselves, and others arise from the way in which the methodology is implemented. Generally, even in a properly implemented iterative or agile methodology, we have a number of clients that tell us, look, there's a rapid rate of change. It's difficult for us as testers to keep up with. We don't necessarily get the kind of test oracles we need. And a test oracle is the things that you can refer to determine what the expected results are, like requirement specifications or properly written user stories that are elaborated into well-written use cases. And also just dealing with expectations. There's people are putting a lot of faith in the life cycle as the way of resolving a large number what are really inherent complexities of software development process. You know, if you have not read the No Silver Bullets essay, which you can find out on the web, I'm sure, or in the latest edition of Fred Brooks' book, The Mythical Man Month. I mean, I highly encourage you to read it, because the distinction between essential complexity and accidental complexity that he makes in there is really important. And yeah, it's true, an improperly implemented methodology, any methodology, or ill-suited methodology, will introduce accidental complexity into the software development process and slow it down. But there remains in software development a tremendous amount of essential complexity, and no magic is going to overcome that. So, you know, in these situations, because of the iterative nature of the life cycle, then regression risk is significant, and so it's important as test managers that we look at ways to automate testing, not just at the unit level, though that's important, but also at the system level. So you do not want to have regression risk going up, and not have some way of managing it. That is going to inevitably lead to automation, right? Because trying to manage regression risk through manual testing is a mug's game for sure. You will eventually be overwhelmed by the increasing scope of the system and the regression risks that are shot through the entire system. Risk-based testing and reactive types of testing, experience-based types of testing are important in these worlds, because each iteration tends to be time-boxed, so you really have to pick very carefully what tests you're going to run. Risk-based testing is good at that. And also the rapid evolution means that we need to incorporate reactive approaches, like Whitaker's software attacks from his books, How to Break Software, or his latest book on exploratory testing will offer some ideas on that. So that's really something that needs to be incorporated into the test process in an effective way. We need to be part of making sure that automation is built into the unit testing and in the continuous integration process. That's something that we should be able to help with. And really make sure that testing and quality are pervasive throughout each iteration, right? Regardless of methodology, it is a common but worst practice to say, oh, well, we're just going to rely on the testing right at the very end to find all the bugs, and we'll then fix them. This is, it's a problem in a sequential model like a V model. It's a problem in a formal iterative model like RUP, and it's going to be a huge problem in an agile methodology like Scrum or something like that, because you're not going to have any fallback time. So really, what comes into the final stages of testing needs to be very close to done. Okay, so I'm sure that those of you who have been test managers for a while. I mean, I've been a test manager for over 20 years now, and you could probably relate to this French saying, as the more that things change, the more they remain the same. So, there are a lot of common themes, stuff that's coming up again, that you've probably seen before. Testing, will remain one of the most challenging of the high-tech jobs, and managing testing is. It is a big challenge, and part of the challenge is it's under-recognized for its complexity, and its complexity is only going to go up. So we need to think of ways to try to effectively manage that. Now, test tools. Part of this is evolving our test tools beyond just monkeys. I mean, we've really focused over the last probably